Welcome back. All right, so we'll get to the craziness of the. Oh, you're just gonna go to the timestamp for the Vancouver Montreal game at the bottom. I honestly, yeah, that's probably gonna happen with a lot of people. All right, so we're gonna start things off talking about the Colorado Avalanche and the Philadelphia Flyers. Now I've dropped Colorado down the power rankings. Two reasons in this. A, you're losing against the Flyers, and the Flyers looked really good, which is concerning if you're the Avs. And McKinnon got hurt in the first period and did not return. So it's Georgiev versus Hart in this one. There's an early press by the Avs. The shots are 3-2 for the Flyers at 2.5 minutes. The Avs, though, they get a power play, they score on it at 3:50. It is Newhook from Makar and Rantanen. Tippett then had a rush chance that wouldn't go, but then Sanheim wires one top shelf. He's really picked it up offensively lately from Lawton and McEwen at 7:29. And then the Flyers look for the lead. The Avs get another power play. That one's killed off. Georgiev looked shaky, too. There was some pucks around him, and you could tell he was fighting the puck tonight. Houdon's denied as the Avs press. Yes, Charles Houdon back in the NHL. Good wide open hockey, and then Lazinski scores from Farabee and Brown at 18:05, and the Flyers press for another. After one period, it's 2-1, and the momentum was all in favor of Philadelphia by the end of that period. Second period, early press by the Avs. Lawton then had a rush chance that was saved. The Flyers would get a power play, and they score on it. It's a screenshot from the point. It's D'Angelo from Frost at 3:59, so that makes it 3-1. Flyers press for another, but the Avs would draw a power play. Compher had a shot that was blocked. That's killed off. And this is where they talked about McKinnon, who was hurt in the first, wasn't returning. Flyers get a power play. That was killed off. O'Connor had a sharp angle shot. That was held. With 1:12 left, the Avalanche get a power play. That rolls over into the third period. The Avs still down by 2. The Flyers finish the kill. The Avs go back to the power play. Makar has a shot that's blocked. That power play is killed off. Farabee's denied on a 2-on-1. The shots on goal are 3-2 for the Flyers at 7 minutes, which is remarkable considering a lot of the time the Avs had the power play. Flyers would get a power play, and they score on theirs. It is Tippett from Lawton and Provorov at 9:54. The Flyers press for an answer, or for another, I should say. The Avs press with 3 minutes left, and eventually they get one. It's Rantanen from Johnson at 17:47. And then with the goalie pulled, Newhook scores at 18:23. And that was a good fight back by the Avs, but they'd pull the goaltender again, and the fight back ends. Konechny with his first goal in his career against the Avs scores from Hayes into the empty net at 19 minutes. So while Philadelphia looked like they might collapse, they held on. They win this one 5-3. They go to 9-12-5 with the win. For Colorado, they dropped to 13-9-1 with the loss. The shots in this one, 15-11 Colorado in the first, 12-5 Philadelphia in the second, 12-11 Colorado in the third. Final shots are 34-32 for the Flyers. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 5, Philadelphia 2 for 3. The hits, 37-29 for Philadelphia. Georgiev saved 29 out of 33, and Hart saved 29 out of 32. So there's your difference, and we'll see how things go for Colorado, how long McKinnon's going to be out. There's some guys that are going to get back soon, but yeah, for Colorado, things have gotten pretty ugly pretty quickly. All right, next up, St. Louis and the New York Rangers. This was a game that was honestly really slow, and then it wasn't. So, Bennington versus Shesterkin in this one. Early chances for the Rangers. Thomas to Tarasenko, near miss there. The shots are 3-0 for New York at 6.5 minutes. Post then for Achari on a fast break. A post doesn't count as a shot, of course. Zone time for the Blues, but they're not getting shots. They would get a power play. Buchnevich tips one, goes wide. That's killed off. Teams trade rushes with 5 minutes left. O'Reilly has a one-timer. That was held by Igor. Shen then had a rush chance that was held, and then it's Schneider that opens the scoring for the Rangers from Gauthier at 17-14, and it was a screenshot far corner. Things get pushy after Igor denies Krug, and then Buchnevich answers from Thomas and Leddy at 18-24. The Rangers get a power play. They score on it. It is Fox deflecting it in front from Panarin and Trocheck at 19:32. It's 2-1 Rangers after one. Second period. At 12 seconds, Tarasenko scores. So at this point in the game, we have 4 goals in a total of 16 shots on net. So Binnington versus Shesterkin should have been a goalie duel, and it really wasn't. And then Trocheck answers less than a minute later at 1:07 from Panarin and Trouba. And then, of course, the Blues try to answer after that, because why not? Teams trade some turnovers. Shen's denied on a rush chance. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, or we would have, but there's another penalty called, so we get 1:47 of a 4-on-3 for the Blues. That was killed off, but the Blues go back to the power play. There's a shorthanded net drive where Kakko hits the post, almost had it, And then Kyrou scores on the power play from Falk and Shen at 11:04. O'Reilly would then add one. He scores from Shen and Kyrou at 12:35. And the Blues press with 5 minutes left. But the score's 4-3 in their favor after 2 periods. Third period. Sodden a net drive, backhand, that was held. Lindgren then had a shot that was held. The Rangers press at 3.5 minutes. Trocheck's denied from the slot, but then Keandre Miller with his first of the year from Lafreniere at 4:48. And here's the momentum. Lafreniere would then score from Zibanejad at 8:16. It was a shot from the point and the slot tip by Lafreniere. The Blues then get a power play. Rather than get the power play goal, Kreider on his own, he scores. Shorthanded at 14:04. This is 7 games in a row where the Blues have had a period that they allow 3 or more goals in it. So this is a major problem for St. Louis. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left. Doesn't get them any closer. Your final score is 6-4 for the Rangers. They go to 12-10-5 on the season. For St. Louis, they're 11-14. The shots in this one, 9-6 St. Louis in the first, 13-6 St. Louis in the second, 12-7 Rangers in the third. Final shots, 29-24 for St. Louis. Power plays, St. Louis 1 for 4, the Rangers 1 for 1. The hits, 25-21 for the Rangers. 25-21 for the Rangers. Binnington, 18 saves on 24 shots. Rough night for him, as it was for Shesterkin as well. 25 saves on 29 shots. So it was pretty much a free-for-all, and I thought, well, that'll be the wildest game of the night. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Not even close. Okay. Vegas in against the Boston Bruins. So, of course, for the Vegas Golden Knights, they didn't have Pietrangelo tonight, and they're a little short-handed, and it's Boston. They've won 14 in a row at home. Here we go. Thompson versus Swayman in this one. On the first shot, Vegas scores. It's Cotter from Carlson and Theodore at 136. Vegas presses. They're kept to the outside. Cotter has a rush chance to save, but then there's a turnover by Pastrnak. Ugly one, too. Marchessault buries it at 5:04. So Marchessault makes no mistake. It's 2-0 Vegas. Boston presses to answer. They're kept to the outside. Both defenses were pretty good at keeping those pressure situations to the outside away from the net, despite the score. Lindholm has a net feed that's blocked. Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. Hall to Pastrnak. Near miss there. Pressed by Vegas with 4.5 minutes left. And in the final minute, Vegas with some more pressure. So while the shots were even, I felt Vegas was the better team, and they were up 2-0 in the score at the end of the first period. Second period, Cotter. Yep, he scores again from Stone and Theodore at 51 seconds. That was the third goal allowed by Swayman on 10 shots. So, rough start for him. Things get pushy then after a hold by Thompson. McAvoy has a blast then that's held. The Bruins press at 5.5 minutes. Vegas blocking him out. Bergeron has a rush chance. That's held. The shots 8 minutes into the period are 6-4 for Boston. McAvoy prevents the Cotter hat trick because, Cotter almost had it and McAvoy stops it. Coyle couldn't bury one in close. The Bruins get a power play. That's killed off. But then Marchand scores from Bergeron and Carlo at 13:46. And he tipped that one in front. It was a nice play. Stone's then denied on a fast break. Vegas gets a power play. Colasar has a shot that's held. That was killed off by Boston. Bruins press after the kill. Thompson holds. But in the final minute, it's Pastrnak wiring one top corner from McAvoy and Lindholm at 19:35. In the second period, Boston's made it a 3-2 game. So we go to the third. Bruins get a power play. They score on it. It's Taylor Hall from Marchand at 3:08. So a 3-0 lead. We won't see a lead bigger than that getting blown tonight. Yes, we will. So Vegas tries to answer. They go to the power play. That's killed off, and the Bruins make sure they clear it out after that's done. So their killers can get off the ice. Vegas presses. Bruins, they're blocking, clearing it out. The shots are 11-8 for Boston with 6 minutes left. DeBrusk is denied. The Bruins press. And again, they're being blocked out. So we go to overtime. Vegas controls early. Both teams are turning it over. McAvoy's denied on a rush. DeBrusk has a rush, the chance that draws a power play. Bergeron tips one wide. There were shots, but the power play's killed off. We're going to a shootout. Takes till round 5. Riley Smith buries the winner. Vegas wins in a shootout 4-3. They go to 19-7-1 with the win. Boston drops to 23-1 with the shootout loss. The shots in this one, 8 apiece in the first, 15-6 for Vegas in the second, and 15-6 Boston in the second, 14-9 Boston in the third, and they outshot them in the overtime 6-1. Final shots 43-24 for Vegas. For Boston, I'm saying Vegas. because I've got the jersey on, and they won, so I expect them to be ahead, and they weren't. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 3, Boston 1 for 4. The hits were 35-28 for Boston. So Boston out-hits them, outshoots them, but Logan Thompson's the difference. 40 saves on 43 shots. Swayman saved 21 out of 24. And again, they dug themselves into that hole early, and they dug themselves out, but they couldn't get that win in the shootout. And for Vegas, they get that, and I believe now they're going home. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, now for the Western Canada portion of your review / recap, however you want to term it. So it was Lindgren versus Skinner in the game between the Caps and the Senators. Yamamoto was back in the lineup for the Oilers. Doesn't get on the score sheet, but he was prominent out there at points. Shore had a wraparound that was saved. Johansson can't bury one in close. The shots are 5-1 for Washington at 3.5 minutes. Man, were they ever ready. Caps press, they draw a power play. Skinner was fantastic. He kills it. There were 7 shots. So when there's 7 shots for a power play, yeah, the goalie killed it, not the team. Oilers press. The Caps block him out. Ovechkin has a shot that deflects out. Power play for the Oilers. That's killed off. Near miss for Ceci. The Caps rush. They would press with 5 minutes left. But at the end of this period, the only reason it's scoreless is Skinner. 22 saves in the first period. That's insane. It was originally 23, but they dropped it to 22. So second period. Now, remember, the Oilers were dominated most of that first period. They score early in the second. 144, it's Kulak from Nugent-Hopkins. It was through a screen from the point. So this is one of those games where one team's in control in the first period. In the second, it looks like, oh, we might get the game to go the other way now. The Oilers press for another. The Caps, though, they would press at 2.5 minutes. Nurse deflects a shot out. We get a power play for the Caps. That's killed off. The shots are 4-2 for the Oilers at 6 minutes. They're having a better period until Eller scores from Milano at 7:25. And it was a good forecheck by Milano. Great deke by Eller. No chance for Skinner on that one. Caps press for the lead. There was more pressure by Washington at 9 minutes. Momentum is all Caps, but when they get a power play, they turn it over to the wrong guy, McDavid. And on a breakaway after the pickoff, he scores shorthanded at 15:25. However, to Washington's credit, they still have a power play, and they score on it late, but they scored on, I think there's 10 seconds left in it, when Oshie scores from Strome and Kuznetsov at 16:55. So some fight back from the Caps. They've tied it twice at this stage. It's 2-2. And it was a one-timer on a great pass. Strome was then denied in close. There were 40 shots for the Caps. Edmonton's DJ played Deutschland by Rammstein. Big fan. Thank you very much. And this is where they put up the graphic saying the Caps are 0-3-1 when they're tied after 2. They had not won a game all season when they were tied after 2. And I thought anytime a graphic like that goes up, very often the jinx is in, for lack of a better way of putting it. So third period, Barrie has a shot that's held. Protas is denied on a break. Malone was then denied on a 2-on-1. There's good chances for both teams at this point in the game. Caps press at 4 minutes. Eventually, they get a goal. A beautiful drop pass by Protas, and Dowd buries it on a rush. That was the 47th shot by the Capitals. We're 7:13 into the third period. So they were running it at about a shot per minute. And Skinner was very, very busy. Barrie has a blast then that's blockered aside. The Oilers press. They're kept to the outside. The Caps ice it with 1 minute and 52 seconds left. The goaltender gets pulled. There was an empty net attempt by Eller. That was blocked out. And the score's 3-2. That's it. That's as close as it gets. The Capitals, 11-12-4 with the win. The Oilers, 14-12 with the loss. The shots in this one, 22-12, Washington in the first. 19-7, Washington in the second. And then 11-9, Edmonton in the third as they went for the steal. Final shots, 50-30 for the Washington Capitals. Just insane. Power plays, Washington 1 for 3, Edmonton 0 for 1. The hits, 27-19 for Washington. They outshot them by a lot and outhit them. Lindgren, 28 saves on 30 shots. Skinner had 47 saves on 50 shots. And he was the first star of the game, and rightfully so. Interesting, of course, with the Caps. They get the win, and they get no points from Ovechkin in the win, which is a win in and of itself. Winning without needing anything from Ovechkin in the game. All right, next up. Arizona in against Calgary. This almost went to full trap mode. Like this was so close to Arizona pulling this off. This is game 13 of the 14-game road trip. Yes, Arizona eventually will be home. I will be able to use their numbers for the periods because I always use the home team for the period numbers. If anybody pays attention, the road team gets the font for the score at the end of the game. So it's Vejmelka versus Vladar, and those are all helmet decals I ordered on eBay or from a couple of different websites. All right, Coyotes get a power play. After killing it off, the Flames go right back to the box. So that was a problem early, although those were the only power plays Arizona had. There's a near miss for Gunther. The Flames clear it out. Bjugstad has a shot that's saved after the power play comes to an end. The first shot for the Flames comes at 8:33. Coyotes already had 5, so the Flames didn't start on time tonight. Stetcher fires one wide on a rush. Anderson then had a shot that was held, but there was no screen. And so if you're going to get those point shots to go through, you've got to get guys to the front of the net. Well, there's a tip in front. So Dubé scores to open the scoring for Calgary from Tanev and Kadri at 14-13. It was a blast from the point by Tanev, a nice tip by Dubé. No chance for Vejmelka. Flames look for another. There's a power play for Calgary, and they score on it. It's Lindholm from Kadri and Huberdeau at 17:01. The interesting thing is, Kadri was trying to take a shot and kind of have fans on it and gets that pass over to Lindholm, which completely threw off Vejmelka. I think if Kadri takes that shot, Vejmelka saves it. Because it's fanned on and goes over to Lindholm, it's buried. So then Boyd tips one wide from in close as the Arizona Coyotes try to answer, but it's 2-0 Calgary after one. Second period, Mangiapane has a rush chance that's held. The early jumps for the Flames. In fact, 6 minutes into the period, the shots are 5-0 Calgary. Coyotes go 15-plus minutes between shots. Yeah, it was a lot. Flames press at the half. Boyd nearly gets one. The Flames rush. Mosier has a shot that's held. Krause had a tip that was saved. The Coyotes are improving. They're starting to get it together. And then one goes in off Vladar's blocker. He almost had this. Gostisbehere from Michelli at 13:53. Stetcher's then denied as the Coyotes decide, well, we might as well tie it. Pressed by the Coyotes with 3:30 left. Coleman has a shot that's held. Dubé has a rush saved in the last minute. We're going to the third period. Early flow is really the key in that third period. There were no shots 4.5 minutes in. But then on the second shot of the period, Chychrun buries one to tie the game from Schmaltz and Gostisbehere at 5:50 again. Jacob Chychrun's doing a very good job of increasing his trade value. He's been very good since coming back. There's another goal, so his goal scoring's back, and that's one of the big things to keep an eye on. Schmaltz then had a shot that was held as now Arizona's looking for the lead. Krause is denied. Vladar holds there. Strong forecheck by the Coyotes. Lucic with a wraparound. That's blocked. Tanev has a shot. Nice glove save there by Vejmelka. 5:01 left. The Flames go to a power play. And they score on it. It's Nazem Kadri scoring from Toffoli and Huberdeau at 15:42. So Huberdeau with a couple of helpers tonight. Kadri with a couple of points. These are guys that Calgary needed to get going. And they did. Huberdeau then had a chance that was blocked as he was looking for a goal to go with his couple of helpers. Goalie pull with 2:15 left. Ruzicka missed the empty net from the blue line. 37.4 seconds left, though. The Flames get a power play. They ran out the clock. So your final score is 3-2 for Calgary. They go to 11-11-3 on the season. For the Coyotes, they're 7-12-4 with the loss. I'm just baffled by Calgary's record being that mediocre. Anyways, the shots are 8-7 Calgary in the first, 15-6 Calgary in the second, 7-4 Arizona in the third. Final shots 27-20 for the Flames. Power plays, Arizona 0-2, Calgary 2-3. The hits 24-13 for Calgary. Vejmelka saves 24-27. Vladar, another solid game for Vladar. 18 saves on 20 shots. Not as spectacular as their last game, but he gets the win. And that's the key thing, is who's getting the wins. Speaking of who's getting the wins, both Montreal and Vancouver said no at different points tonight. Both teams decided, nah, we don't really need this. We don't really want it. It's Montembeault versus Martin. One of these guys would finish the game. I'll give you a hint. His last name starts with M. So Miller has a shot that's blocked. The Canucks had the early jump. The shots are 7-0 for the Canucks at 4.5 minutes. Always makes you nervous when the team you're cheering for has all the shots and nothing to show for it. So Hughes is denied on a net drive, and then on the third shot that Montreal gets, they score. It's Caulfield, of course, from Harris at 7:49. The Canucks had 9 shots to that point, and Montreal had a lot of momentum after that. Canucks tried to answer. They didn't have shots during that. The Habs would rush. Habs get a power play. Shen was going to the box, and Jack-Guy said, hey, before you get in the box, can we have a fight? And Shen goes, sure. So they had a fight. We then had 37 seconds of 4-on-4 during that power play. The Canucks would get the power play. Gooley has a rush chance that's saved. Miller fires one wide. Everything's killed off. We go back to 5-on-5. And then Suzuki scores from Gooley at 12:34. The Habs would get a power play shortly after that. And 5 seconds after the power play came to an end, Monahan scores from Suzuki and Matheson at 14:57. It's 3-0. And then on their 9th shot, it was originally shown as their 8th, but it's their 9th shot, Pizzetta scores from Harrison Evans at 16:17. Bruce decides either he's seen enough of Martin's attempts tonight or we need to change something. Odds are he's wanting to change something. And so Colin Delia went in. So we go to the second period. Delia with a giveaway early in the period. No damage done there, but that's not going to inspire confidence. Evans then had a shot deflect out. The shots are 2-0 for the Canucks at 4.5 minutes. Not the same start they had in the first. Armia has a shot that's held. There's some pushing after that. There's a near miss for Caulfield. The Habs press at 6.5 minutes. Canucks get pinned down. And at this point, I'm like, all right, well, I know who wins this. So that's when I changed the records, and I had to change them again. So things get pushy after a save by Montembeault. Pizzetta then had a rush chance that was saved. It just looked like the Habs were going to run them right out of the building. Habs press more with 9 minutes left. Evans then draws a Habs power play. Monahan had exited by this point. He'd been banged up coming into this game. Just been talking about him with a walking boot and all this, and I think whatever's been bothering him was aggravated during this game. So that power play's killed off, and then on a fantastic deke, nice play by Kuzmenko to set it up. Garland scores his first goal since, 1986. At 16:44, it's been a while. It's been 17 games. And then Mikheyev, less than 2 minutes later, scores from Pettersson and Besser at 18:28. Who knew putting Besser on a top line would get him going? Who knew? So the Canucks then press for another, but after 2, it's suddenly interesting. It's a 4-2 game. So third period, Caulfield is a net drive or net feed that's blocked. Besser has a rush chance that's saved, and then at 4:02, Horvat gets his 20th of the season from Höglander and Stillman. Good forecheck, and then it's buried. And then at 5:45, so less than 2 minutes later, Mikheyev scores from Pettersson and Stillman. It was a great one-timer off a fantastic pass, and it's in the back of the net. And then Montembeault, bonehead play behind the net or great play by Stednica. You guys can decide. But on the turnover, Stednica gets the goal unassisted at 8:49, unless you count Montembeault with the assist. And then the Habs call a timeout. And during that, Marty St. Louis was, I think, the most animated I've seen him as a coach. He was not happy. And that seemed to work. The Habs would press with 9.5 minutes left. Eventually, they get a goal. Dvorak from Dodonov and Armia at 15:23. And then, on a turnover, Anderson scores at 17 minutes. I might have sworn there. I might have. So it was 6-5 Montreal. But then the Canucks get a power play, and they score on it as Kuzmenko from Miller and Hughes at 18:35. The great thing in this game is the Dvorak goal was on a face-off the Canucks felt should have been outside the zone. So they were really mad. They were, like Bruce Boudreau was mad at the ref. But the Habs were mad at the ref too. So this way, nobody's happy with the ref, so the ref wins. So we end up going to overtime. And the Habs, they win the face-off, but then Pettersson steals it. Could have called a penalty there where he stole it. They don't. And at 13 seconds, Pettersson scores. So between the missed calls and the just bonkers craziness of this game, the Canucks win 7-6 in overtime. They go to 11-12-3. For Montreal, they're 12-11-2 with the overtime loss. I have no idea what this is going to do for the Canucks moving forward. Do they look at this game and say, all right, well, it was sloppy, but we won in the end? The 4-0 lead for Montreal. This is, I think they said, the 5th time the Canucks have ever come back from a 4-0 deficit. And they were matched like 71 and 75. And yeah. So anyways, the shots in this one are not anywhere near as crazy as the score. It was 11-9 Montreal in the first, 13-8 Vancouver in the second, 9-6 Vancouver in the third, and in the overtime, Vancouver had the only shot, the one that matters. Final shots 32-25 for Vancouver. Power plays, not nearly as many as either coach thought there should have been. 0 for 3 for Montreal, 1 for 2 for Vancouver. Hits 20-17 for Montreal. Montembeault saves 25 out of 32. And he was great in the first period. He was fantastic saving those first 9 shots. And then Montreal rattles off four goals on their 9 shots. By the end of the night, that's kind of forgotten. And then Martin saved 5 out of 9. Delia as a replacement, 14 out of 16. I'm saying it right now. Put Delia in net against San Jose on Wednesday. I think Delia has earned himself a chance for a start. While Demko's out, you might as well see what you have with Delia, measure him against Martin, and then plan accordingly. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these games from tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing right through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.